y'all, it's Kate, and today I'm going to be doing a reading update because I'm back from the dead. Been gone a little while, but I haven't talked about what I've been reading, or what I want to read, or what I have read in a while. I really haven't read that much this year, which is really sad. And the year's almost over. It's November. Yeah, not good. I've only read 16 books this year so far, which is an all-time low, basically. And my goal used to be like 60 for this year, because I was doing like up 10 every year. Didn't realize my senior year would be so busy. So then I took it down to 50, then I took it down to 40. Kept taking it down, but basically it's down to 20 now. So that's really bad, but it's okay. At least I've still been reading when I can, because that's better than not reading at all, I guess. So I'm going like way back in my reading life, because I don't even remember when I read some of these books in this year. It was like the beginning of the year or something, but anyways, here we go. The first book I want to talk about is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, which I think a lot of people read this year because the movie came out and it was really good. But okay, I gave this book 4.5 stars, I think 4.5 stars. I really, really love this book. It was really, really sweet, and it's a very short book, and it's very easy to read because a lot of it's like pictures or like schedules and like stuff like that, and even the chapters that are words are like short, so it's not hard to read at all. But because it's written like that, it's very hard to put it down and you want to keep going. So I read it in a couple sittings, which is really, really weird for me because I never do that. But yeah, I really, really like this book, and I also love the movie. I thought the movie did a fairly good job of following the book, and that was good to see, obviously, because a lot of movies don't do that. I think there were a couple things that bugged me about the movie, but because it was good for the most part, I like tried to overlook them and it was fine. Okay, the next book and books that I read is the Red Queen series. Now, let me just, okay, I could rant about this for a while, like, maybe I'll make a video just ranting about the Red Queen series. Okay, anyways, I love the first book. I read this one and I was like, wow, this is really, really good. And I hadn't read a dystopian in a while because I don't read a lot of them anymore because they get kind of monotonous, obviously, because they all have the same general idea to them. And after reading a bunch of them, you kind of get what's going to happen. But, okay, but I really, really like this one. I read it and I was in love with it because I loved the characters, although the ending kind of is what made it go down a little bit for me in this one, because I think I gave this either 5 stars or 4.5 stars, I don't remember, but I was kind of worried at the end because I just knew that Victoria Aveyard was planning something and I wasn't gonna like it, because the only character that I like in this series is Maven, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but things didn't go as I hoped they would, because it kind of took a route that, how do I put this? Okay, she took the easy way out, basically, because, man, okay, I don't want to spoil anything. Anyways, second book, Glass Sword. Not a fan. I think I gave it 3 stars, I think. So it was like, okay, but I thought it was just gonna have like second book syndrome, and I thought she could bring it back. But no. Because, okay, the second book, not much happened. It was kind of boring, and it was really long and not worth it. Okay, and it took me a long time to read it. Third one is actually the most recent book I read, so this is not in order exactly, but anyways, third one, King's Cage. I literally read that book for like 3 months. Like, it took me that long to read it. I could not get through it, and I read other things like while I was reading it because I couldn't do it. Like, it was so boring, and it was just disappointing in just about every single manner. The whole series is just filled with whining. If you've read the Selection series, it's kind of like America Singer. Wait, is it not the same singer? I don't remember, I think. Which is funny. Huh, that's funny, because in the Selection series, America, she goes by Mare. Coincidence? I think not. I think if the character's name is Mare, she's automatically gotta be annoying, because Mare and Mare are both complete imbeciles. Like, okay, I'm not pleased with this series. I really, really liked where it was going when it started, but it just didn't deliver, and I just figured out there's gonna be a 4th book in the series. Okay, if she had just stopped this at the first book and like wrapped it all up somehow, I would have been fine with it. Maybe even like a 2 book. It could be like a duology. I would have read a duology and been okay with it. But 4 books? What if she has 5? What if she has 6? I just think that she's drawing it out, and it's just more of the same and more disappointment in every single book, and a lot of it seems very just like juvenile to me when I read it. Like, the writing style is okay. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, but sometimes it's just the scenes are so unnecessary. The scenes are so pointless. There's no, like, I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, I don't like this. Like, there's no value in it that I can find. Anyways, I'm gonna stop ranting. On a better note, then I read A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, which 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. This is a piece of art. This is a masterpiece. I will say, though, that A Court of Mist and Fury is still my favorite in the series, and it's still my favorite book of all time. So this didn't, like, usurp it, you know, but it definitely didn't disappoint me at all. And, oh my goodness, I cried so many times in this book. I cried, like, in the happy scenes. Like, when you were supposed to be just filled with joy, I was crying. I can't explain it to you. I just love these characters so much, and I love the action so much. I'm one of those people, actually, which is bad, but I sometimes, like, zone out during the, like, war scenes or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, battle, good, battle, battle. But these ones I actually read, like, fully and comprehended fully and, like, visualized, and I really, really enjoyed them. So, yeah. Battle scenes that I don't like, Red Queen, that's, like, probably the only good thing about the book, too, is the battle scenes, but I still zoned out in parts of them. But anyways, back to this one. Yeah, I loved it so much, and I'm so glad they're coming out with novellas for the series, because it can't end. I mean, it can't. And if you read this, and you know that there's something that, like, happens at some point in the book, my heart stopped beating for a little bit. I literally, like, I was bawling, and there's tears on the pages. Let me see. This page is wrinkled. I've, like, sacrificed my book with my tears. Anyways, amazing book. If you haven't read the series, you need to. It's just, you have to read it, obviously. The next book I read is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delara, I think. I don't remember what I gave this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. I liked this book. It wasn't obviously the best book I've ever read because I gave it 4 stars, but it was really good and I really liked it. I thought that I think I cried in this book too. I cry in most books. Several complaints I can point out. I don't know what any of the characters look like in this book. Like, I know their personalities, I know how they act, and I'm very familiar with the characters themselves, and I have, like, a vivid idea of their personas, but I don't know what they look like. I cannot tell you what the main character of this book looked like because it was never described to me. I can't tell you what her guy friend in the book looks like. I can't tell you that either. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they look like, but I know who they are. So I don't know if that's technically a bad thing, but I feel like it should have been said somewhere in the book what they look like. Next, I read Coltonburg by Marcel Beyer, which I think I gave this 2 stars. If I think about it now, it's probably more like 2.5 because this book took me a while to read, and I read it in the summer, I think. But it's very interesting. It has a lot to do with ornithology, which is study of birds, and it's in history. It's like in the 50s, I want to say. I don't remember, but it's in Germany. I think it's been too long since I've read it, but I enjoyed parts of this book, actually. I enjoyed that it was very different. But sometimes that different nature of it made it kind of hard to read, and it was very, like, dense, I guess. The writing is very dense in here, and it's very descriptive. So that's why it was hard for me to read, and it's very hard for me to focus on it because it was somewhat dull in parts. But even when it was dull, like, what made the book somewhat good was that the characters were very interesting and very strange, I guess. So I kind of liked it, but I gave it 2 or 2.5 stars or something because it took me forever and it was somewhat dull. So yeah. Next, I read The Old Man and the Sea. I read this for school. Not much to say about it. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. The symbols. I like the symbols that are represented by this book, but the plot as a whole is just kind of I guess. So 3 stars. The next thing I read is How to Read Literature Like a Professor. I also read this for school, and I actually really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was very interesting. It points out a lot of things that, like, they allow you to, like, analyze what you're reading more and to be more aware. There's not much to say about it, but I liked it. Next, I read Survival of the Sickest. I think I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. It was very different for me because I'd never read something like this before. It was nonfiction. I've never really read nonfiction besides this other book. Well, I read one of the nonfiction book, but Okay, this one is a science nonfiction book, and it's a lot about how diseases actually contribute to the longevity of. Very informative. I learned so much from reading this book, and it made me more interested in biology and all of that. So that's why I took AP Biology this year. And it's interesting when you actually like think about it. It's kind of hard to make yourself focus on it, but if you do, then it's cool. Next, I read Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. There's like 3 books or plays in here, but I read Oedipus Rex for school. It's a weird one. I think I gave it 3 stars or something like that. It was interesting. It's a bold play, gotta say. Yeah, it's really something, but I didn't hate it, so 3 stars. Next, I read A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, and I gave this 4.5 stars, I think. I love this book. I love this book so much. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars, I think, is because at the beginning, the beginning was kind of slow, and it took me a while to be interested in it. But once I was, this is a really important book. It's, well, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. Well, it has some sensitive topics in it, and it's something that you have to deal with carefully and correctly, I guess. But I think this book did a really good job of it. And interestingly enough, this author lives near me, in my town, and she's coming to my school this coming week, and I get to like talk to her and get her to sign my book, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be so cool. I get to actually talk to her about her book. Like, how cool is that? So those are all the books that I had to talk about. Yeah, I haven't really read this much this year, but I'm hoping to hit at least 20 by the end of the year. I'm currently reading Because You Love to Hate Me, which is the collection of short stories with different young adult authors and in collaboration with booktubers. 5 pages into the first story, so I really can't tell you how it is so far, but I'm excited for it. So yeah, thanks for watching this, and I'll see you soon. Bye!